To persuade my audience as to why Children Protective Services are broken. Intro. Children Protective Services are providers and care for children in the nation of adoption centers as a temporary arrangement for children in that parents are unable to care for them. DC's bodies. I will inform you why CPS fails to provide adequate care for children in the need care of parents that are not able to reunite with their children in the CPS system around the states who have been in the foster care centers are part of the program that helps them to succeed. Having to visit the CPS centers, I have spoken to dozens of children in where they're part of the system is overwhelming on the information that was received while I visit the centers, and I'll tell you why the centers are broken. First, I will explain the CPS centers on how the system is coordinated, and then who it will and how it works. Okay, I will explain transition. Now, given an overall view about the speech, I will explain how it is coordinated and how it works. First, CPS centers are to investigate and find the best resources for the children that have been unfortunate to reunite with their birth parent, find a suitable home, and parents that are looking for adoption for children. Informal CPS centers are arranged by the courts for care of the others agencies that care for the children. CPS centers and youth are put into group homes for emergency shelters that are supervised by the independent living facilities. For the information, the CPS centers are not provided or permitted only by temporary, but for adoption is legal and permanent. CPS centers that children are legally permanented. CPS centers for children that formally arranged by the courts are placed there because the unsafe environmental homes, which are maltreated, sexual assault, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, and so forth. CPS centers and living quarters for children that parents are not able to, unwilling to care for the guardian of the courts and have been provided by the state's shelter living facilities to award their care. Most CPS centers have their license for adoption but choose not to. All CPS centers go through a background check for training for able to care for the responsible children in need, but care to do not so. CPS centers are provided in a clean home environmental for the children as a temporary time, but not that will help the children reunite with their biological parent or parents. Now, keep in mind that it will take several weeks, months, and even years to reunite with the biological parents. Some CPS centers provide adoptions for children with behavior abilities and might require most of a restricted home with special requirements. All Department of Social Services are licensed and provide a 24-hour service care for supervised children structure. Small homes are provided with support for an environmental structure. CPS centers will, with small group homes, are specialized specific centers for mental health and vocational training. Transition. Now I've told you about the CPS centers and how they work. I will now inform you on resources on how they lack the several abilities of these facilities. CPS centers have increased over dozens of decades in the data, and the database that have risen over and has risen over 510,000 in 2017, over 18% stay with relatives, 18% in non-Hispanics, and 21 of Black are fostered every 6 months. In 2017, about 100 to 1,500 students were part of the foster system. Nearly all children in the CPS facilities found 81% live in care of CPS centers, with non-relatives. More than 51,000 children in the CPS facilities are limited to with adoption homes and available that are available. CPS groups homes are limited with 30 to 40,000 children, where children are mostly teenagers and spend 6 months up to 2 years in the care. Children that spent there usually have Children that have spent there are usually have in need of special attention in their behavior problems. CPS centers are extremely strictly regarding limited hugs or touching in is prohibited. Having the opportunity to Having the opportunity has been a great experience for me to teach a former foster child baseball. Having him smile give me a great expectation to keep him teaching. Unfortunately, he was shot dead at the scene. One specific information was informed on CPS centers that there was not enough food to go around. They only ate once at dinner time. Clothing was twice weekly, and they were not. And there was no personal items to keep because the CPS centers have a no tolerant violence permitted. Having the opportunity to speak with others in CPS centers of children involved in sports activity have impacted me as a mentor and authority figure. CPS center children are not being physical, personal items in the center because it is behavior problems with other children in the center. Staff in the CPS centers are extremely busy maintaining multiple children to keep them in line or have them disciplined. Children in the care CPS centers are taught to respect others as well as themselves before leaving the center. Keep in mind the group homes are different from CPS centers, 5 to 7 times more expensive. Transition. Let's talk about the shortage of foster parents in homes. Uh, these are these are the circumstances. The numbers of children in the foster care system has increased in the last couple of decades over a long high time. The reason of the adequate has affected families have been caused by the parents and abused their children because of taking them into foster care. The system has been broken. CPS centers increased dramatically because of not enough foster parents signing up. This has increased overcrowded CPS centers in the foster facilities. There are more children coming into the CPS centers that lead and less unfortunate housing, but the shortage of foster parents that cause children to go through center to center, not knowing what to expect. Children in the critical stages in their life go through changes, not knowing where they will end up next. CPS centers do not seem to care about providing children with necessary tools to feel better and for proper placement. Children have gone through intense and physical emotion stress with situations of being removed permanently from the biological parents. Many of the children must receive therapy and are left behind because not enough adoption available. Adoption agency are currently over 775,000 children living in CPS centers, and there is more than and over 4,000 foster homes are not available. This is an issue that is limited supplies only. Apply attention and care is a mandatory issue. It is not parental figure to reply on. Children have not been damaged. No, I'm sorry. Children have been damaged with mental and physical abuse. Children in the CPS centers are left behind because parents are not given the chance to be able to get their children back. Transition. In conclusion, I will conduct my speech. After my speech, because of the CPS centers and how many do you believe in need of informal to meet the standards of children in their care? I have discussed the CPS centers and are now informed you with the lack of work and conduct of the proper procedures and discuss the lack of center availables for children living in these facilities. Thank you.